Victorum gaming fans, we're back. We got another quick unboxing for you today. This time it's for Cruel Seas from Warlord Games. This is their naval game, which is basically smaller coastal ships set in the World War II time period. So what we're going to take a look at today is the German Marine Fahrpram, or Pram, and the F-Lighter is basically the full title for it there. So quite a mouthful, but we'll crack this thing open, then we'll take a look at it. All right, we're back. We got everything open. There's not too much in here. So they do give you a sheet of basically flags, which, again, way more than you need for this ship, but you can apply them for other ships that you get for the game, for your faction. You get your wake marker, basically showing your speed and sort of turning radius and all that fun stuff. You get your stat card. We'll talk about that in a second. And then the model itself is basically just one piece as far as the hull is concerned, in resin. So pretty good detail there. This is basically like a barge that just got like upgunned by the Germans to have some pretty nasty firepower. Cool thing in the game too is it's got basically a shallow draft, so torpedoes aren't going to touch this thing. So you can just ignore the British torpedoes for if you're facing them. But yeah, not too much in the way of flash or anything either. And just a little bit of cleanup work here at the end, but pretty cool model. And then as with pretty much all of these that are these resin metal hybrids, all the guns, deck crew, etc., are all these small fiddly little metal bits here. So you got various pieces here. So the actual flags, some of the smaller like 2 centimeter guns, MGs and other stuff, and then really the big business end of the F-Lighter here are the two, I believe they're 88 equivalents. We'll check in a second when we get to the stat card. Thankfully, these have the crew kind of molded onto the back here. So obviously very, very tiny crew, but you can definitely get a little bit of detail on them. But yeah, these are definitely the business end of this ship. So really, really cool. Basically go on the two mounts right there. And then we come to our stat card. So, oops, we'll get that out of the way. So, and again, super long word there, but basically just the F-Lighter. Italians also get a version of this, but you can buy it inexperienced at 200 points, regular crew at 250, so there is no veteran or elite version really of this. But as you can just see from the picture, once this thing's fully assembled, it's pretty much every square inch is covered in guns of some sort. So, and we flip it over to get to the actual stats and stuff. So, it has basically 95 hull. It's got some options for extra equipment, stuff like that for critical effects. Basically, it gives you the layout of the guns too, which really also doubles as your instructions on how to build this thing. So it's pretty self-explanatory of where everything goes. So you got your two 88s, yeah, with 270-degree angles there. You got a twin 20 kind of in the middle and two quad 20s fore and aft, a couple of machine guns, and then basically I think also pretty much all these ships of this size come with two extra machine guns as per the rules. And here then kind of just going through that again, so 88 times 2, 37 millimeter auto, quad 20 times 2, a twin 20, machine gun times 2, smoke, shallow draft. The big sort of, I guess, downside to the ship, I mean, it can definitely take some damage. 95 hull is pretty good. It is horribly, horribly slow, as you can see there. Those are basically your speed in inches, if I'm not mistaken, in this game. So slow is 3, combat is 6, full at 9. And yeah, you're not getting anywhere fast. Now, if you're going full out, 9 is not so bad, but at the same time, there's penalties for basically going flat out and impact your accuracy and all that. So really, going slow is probably your best bet. You don't want to stand still because that makes you super easy to hit. But if you're going slow, you're not getting anywhere fast. But really, the 288s definitely give you some long range firepower as enemy ships are closing in. But yeah, no matter what, this thing isn't really getting anywhere fast, so you're not going to win a maneuver battle, but again, you're basically a floating gun barge here, so played right, this thing can be absolutely devastating, and probably won't do as hot on, like, if you're just playing like an open map, no islands or anything like that, but if you play with a little bit more terrain and maybe even like more of like a giant like river system or something like that, this thing can certainly lock down parts of the board or parts of the map, however you want to tournament by itself, unless you're facing something of equal or greater firepower here. But another really solid ship for the Germans. Really good stuff. Turning angles, got a 30-degree turning angle when it gets to do that. And yeah, like I said, 95 hull is a good chunk. You can definitely absorb some damage, and just peppering away at enemy ships in return. So that is the German F-Fighter. Again, the Italians have a similar version, but I don't think it has nearly as many guns. But this is Cruel Sea. So again, Warlords, coastal patrol ship, combat ship type of game. So they are coming out with a new one called Victory at Sea, which will hopefully release soon. And that's kind of at a much smaller scale to represent, again, bigger ships. So in this game, there are basically destroyers is kind of like the single biggest thing, but those are like actual model kits you have to build, and really not necessarily for like everyday casual play, and you probably need a pretty big map for those. But could lead to some fun scenarios here where you have these smaller ships trying to maybe down one of them. But this is about as big as it gets for most ships. So really cool game, worth checking out. There's 6 factions for it. So you got the Germans, of course. Again, this is set during World War II, but Germans, British, Americans. You got the Russians. See, Germans, British, Americans, Russians, Japanese, and feel like I am missing one. Germans, British, Americans, Japanese, and Russians. Yeah. So that should run through all of them. So if you like this video, go and hit us up with a like and a subscribe, and then stay tuned for more content.